Everywhere I went, as I interacted with small businesses, we did a lot of focus on recipients of PPP and how the program had helped them. Everywhere I went, I heard the same thing from people that didn't know each other. There's no way that they coordinated on this message. And it's went something like this.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Here's your fourth stimulus check update and daily news report. In this video, I'll be bringing you up to date on the latest stimulus news and information, including what may happen if Biden's massive infrastructure bill is not passed soon. Everybody, I just hope our politicians in Congress pass a fourth stimulus bill. Our politicians have got to help out the good American people in this country. And if you folks agree with my message, then let's get this video to 1,000 likes.
I think the key here is we are ready to come to the table. We're ready to work on solutions. Iowans need and support infrastructure investment. But if there's one thing that I've heard from my constituents, it's that they support targeted infrastructure investment. When we're talking about that package specifically, only 6% goes to roads and bridges, only about 5% to broadband infrastructure, and even less to locks and dams and ports. So when you're talking about spending more on electric vehicles.
Everybody, Democratic lawmakers are trying really hard to approve trillions of dollars in a new spending bill to tackle everything from education to housing and even clean energy. The federal government has struggled to quickly translate cash from Congress into actual shovels in the ground. Everybody, President Joe Biden still has to figure out how to spend the money on time, on budget, and with the intended impact. And depending on how all that goes, President Biden can finally restore faith in big government programs. A former Democratic congressman told NBC News, "The American people are asking one question and one question only. Will this infrastructure package work?" And advocates and outside experts say that the Biden administration is well positioned to route money through existing programs, boost state and local governments that have an existing backlog of infrastructure projects, and accelerate clean energy trends. But there are still a lot of details to fill in and many potential hurdles to overcome, even if the money is approved. Everybody, plans to boost access to care for seniors and disabled Americans could conflict with plans to raise pay for caregivers. Billions of dollars to update the electric grid could run into objections from communities who don't want new power lines crossing their territory. One thing could also affect investments in affordable housing, which the White House hopes to address this year. So President Joe Biden has also said that he wants to see a corporate tax rate between 25 and 28%, and that is now a new marker in the ongoing negotiations over how to fund a massive infrastructure bill. During an event, President Biden said, "The way I can pay for this is making sure that the largest companies don't pay zero, and reducing the 2017 corporate tax cut to between 25 and 28%. That's a couple $100 billion, and we can pay for these things." The remarks were the first time Joe Biden has acknowledged that his initial proposal of raising the corporate tax rate to 28%, up from the current 21%, was shifting amid negotiations on the costly infrastructure bill. And Biden's signature domestic policy bill would invest $2 trillion into rebuilding parts of the United States infrastructure, from roads and bridges to expanded broadband. Lawmakers must definitely pass another relief package, and it must increase the Social Security benefits by $200 a month. And if folks agree with me, then let's get this video to 1,000 likes. Thank you for watching, everybody. Until next time, have a great day and stay safe.
In mid-April, I went to, back in Florida, I went to Jacksonville, Orlando, the Villages, the Tampa Bay region, Southwest Florida, and of course back to South Florida where I live. Everywhere I went, as I interacted with small businesses, we did a lot of focus on recipients of PPP and how the program had helped them. Everywhere I went, I heard the same thing from people that didn't know each other. There's no way that they coordinated on this message. And it's went something like this. We have 50 job openings. We can only get 5 people to even respond. Only one will come in for an interview, and then they didn't take the job when I offered it. Over and over and over again, hearing that from small businesses in various sectors, so not just restaurants and hotels and hospitality, but various other sectors as well, including one manufacturer. And when I asked, well, why is it? Why are people telling you that they're not going to do it? And the answer that people gave them was, look, I'm receiving unemployment benefits. It pays maybe not as much as I was making working, but pretty close. When those run out, I'm going to go back to work. That's what we're being told by small businesses. It's not what I'm saying. I'm not having a press conference here with you today to tell you that's what I believe. It's what I'm being told. So I'm here to tell you what small businesses are telling me, and I believe are telling everyone that's here. And that is that enhanced unemployment benefits are creating an incentive for people not to return to work until they expire. It's not because people are lazy, right? Accusing anyone of being lazy. It's because people are logical. Because it's logic that if you're going to make close to what, or as much, or in some cases more than what you do when you're at work, you'll go back to work when that expires. We have a labor crisis in this country. I have a small business owner, owns a handful of restaurants in Miami, who has put up a sign on the door that says, due to the labor crisis, wait times for an hour or something along those lines, they just can't. A guy calls every day. We're having a labor crisis. Just like small business in particular got hit hard during the pandemic when they were shut down, they're now being hit hard again by a labor crisis that's not allowing them to open up to the levels that are allowed by local authorities. I heard the arguments that some make, and a lot of people contort themselves into a pretzel to try to come up with some explanation that has nothing to do with the benefits. People are afraid of getting COVID. People have nowhere to put their kids. I can't speak to the rest of the country. I can tell you in Florida, schools have been open since October, and you can literally walk into various retail establishments throughout the state and get a vaccine without an appointment. We now have probably more vaccines than willing recipients. So I think it's important for us to acknowledge that we have a labor crisis, that a government program has exacerbated it, and it's time to address it because we are doing significant harm to the ability of these small businesses to.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I must admit that I have found this hearing to be stunning in that it seems, Mr. Secretary, that you're proud of the progress being made by the administration, that things are going well at the border. And I look at this chart that was prepared by Senator Johnson, and I see an extraordinary crisis. I mean, do you recognize this as an alarming crisis?
Senator, I look at immigration as a challenge that has been persistent for many years.
Of course, but we were running along here, and now we're seeing apprehensions at the border that have skyrocketed, and just as alarming, perhaps even more so, is the chart that came from Senator Portman, which is unaccompanied children who are being led into the country, an explosion in that number. I mean, is this not a massive failure that would suggest that the administration needs to take immediate action to remedy what we're seeing here?
Senator, we have taken immediate action with respect to the unaccompanied children, and we've made tremendous.
Is the number coming down?
And we are addressing that challenge with increasing efficiency every single day.
Increasing efficiency to get them moved to other parts of the country and with families and out of these crowded facilities. I understand that. I'm delighted that we're not having kids sleeping on floors and in cages. That totally, but the number coming into our country and being released into our country is at a skyrocketed level, as is this. The question is, do you have plans to do something dramatically different such that those numbers come down to an acceptable level? Because you can imagine this overwhelms our Border Patrol agents. I mean, if they've got numbers like this they're dealing with, this means that the drug cartels can be smuggling through drugs because our folks are taking